So now maybe we can have a discussions because we as Sustainable Island Mauritius Project, we would like to facilitate communications, because without communications, how can we collaborate? How can we build new partnerships, not only within the industry, tourism industry, but also between the public authorities, in this case, MTA, SME Mauritius, and TPA, and the companies, tourism companies. So I think now, how should we do this, Louis? So we stay in this room and maybe I can stop sharing so we can see each other. Maybe I will put a little bit, sorry, maybe, yeah, okay. Luis, you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So maybe from our participants, so far, what is your motivations to attend the workshops today? Are you interested in the topic of communications or on the topic of accessing financing for your business to invest in more sustainable operations, or both? Of course, it's possible. And if you are looking for financing, what do you want to invest in? Are you considering to invest in green measures to improve your business sustainability? Because this has been what we discussed in the past few weeks, also today. And in case you are looking for green financing or financing in general, are you having some challenges that you want to share with us? And maybe by having these conversations today, SME Mauritius, MTA, MTPA, and other relevant public authorities will understand better the challenges that you are facing. And if you ever obtain green credits or any credits for SMEs, please feel free to share your experience, positive or negative, so other participants today here can also learn from your experience. So I open the floor for discussions. Who want to start? No one?
Just one question to Michael. Is the grant for participating in the international fairs for SMEs, it is still on via the MTPA international fairs where they go?
This have been, it is on, but it is with EDB today. So those who want to apply for this grant, they should go to EDB to have this grant to attend international fairs and other international activities.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so far, Michael, if you can share some insights, how many tourism SMEs already tried to apply for the grants or the financing with SME Mauritius?
Yeah, so up to now, we have seen that that is for last financial year 2021, 2020-2021, we had some 42 SMEs in the tourism sectors who have applied for the different grants that we are giving, including those for the certification and so on. So this means that there is still there's still people can come in, because the total number of grants that was allocated last year was 700 SMEs who benefited from our grants, and only 42 is from the tourism sector. So this means that you can come to us, we will discuss and see how you can benefit from the different grants that SM Mauritius is offering. And as I said before, we are encouraging those in the service sector to come and take our grants also, because there is that perception that SM Mauritius is only for those people in the manufacturing sector. This is not true at all. Our grants cover also those in the service sector. So you're the most welcome.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Any questions so far? You can feel free to turn on your video and microphone. This is an opportunity that you can really use to ask your questions.
Hi, it's Christopher.
Yes, please, Christopher.
Hi. This is more just a general observation, I think, and following on from some of the comments that were made earlier on this afternoon, where I think funding or grants that would support the marketing side of things would be valuable. There were all these comments earlier on about how there are lots of good things already happening in Mauritius, and not being able to tell that story and get that message out to the world. And so I think maybe sort of raising the profile of the marketing side of things and allowing that to help support those stories would be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, by a complete chance, I was talking to somebody only last week who was building a catamaran and who turned around to me and said they had investigated getting electric-powered motors for their catamaran and they couldn't afford it. So I will now go back to him. He's not in this group at the moment, but I will go back to him and say there might be a way of being able to get some sort of financial support or a loan or something like that. So I will also pass that message on, because I know he was very proactively trying to find something, but couldn't. The cost difference between the diesel and the electric was too much.
Yeah, awesome, Christopher. Thank you so much. So you don't have any questions, right? Mm-hmm. Please go ahead, Luis.
No, just to add on Christopher's comment on investing of electrical motors for boats. I think it's interesting also that the initial investment is quite high, but then with having the support from financing schemes like we're seeing right now, it's interesting that you're investing in an electrical motor that then in a later stage you will reduce lots of costs, such as maintenance costs of the motor, of gasoline, combustion fossil fuels for this motor. So it seems like the investment is quite high at the beginning, but then through the years you will let's say gain, or let's say save a lot of money by not having maintenance or gasoline costs. Just to add on that.
That's a really important point. Thank you, Luis. So anyone else wants to say something? This is your chance, actually final chance, because this will be our last workshops out of the 5 online workshop series and the one-to-one coaching sessions together with Andreas. Anyone wants to say something? No? So maybe we can also share some information while waiting for your questions or comments that together with with Mauritius Tourism Authority, this project is going to support Mauritius governments to design or to develop visions for the future where we can brand Mauritius as low carbon and resilient island. So in these visions, we include also an aspect about alleviating the impacts of climate change. Again, coming back to your point, Christopher, that one of the solution is to support the boat operators or maybe taxi company to shift to electric engines, because we believe that it's going to help the tourism sector in Mauritius a lot, especially when we consider Mauritius as an island, and with the climate change, of course, the surface level of the seas is increasing. So there is a lot of reasons for us together to try to cut the GHG emissions together. Yeah. Anyone else wants to say something?
Just have a small question for Michael. Michael Pompeya's presentation, you were mentioning that most of the financing goes towards specific, let's say, actions on, for example, implementing technologies. And this is, of course, one of the main entrants for many financing for green action, let's say. I wanted to ask you if you're gonna, let's say, try to expand in the future the options of actions that could be implemented. For example, if someone wants to try to implement technologies for reforestation or a coral reef reforestation or things like this, would that be an option, or is it only focused, right, or is it going to be only focused on solar power and PVs and things like this?
I think that by definition of the mission of SME Mauritius is to promote SMEs. Okay, and what we want to do is to come up with actions which will impact directly on the business, on the profitability of the business on the long run. You mentioned about, Kartika mentioned about resilience. Okay, what all the schemes that we are actually offering our customers, I would like to say our SMEs, is mainly to create that sense of resilience, to make them more resilient. There's no one-off injection. So to answer your question, whether SME Mauritius will go toward coral reef and so on, I must say that unfortunately this is not our business, the main business. But if we have an SME who develop, let's say, a technology, who develop a specific, let's say, business around this, definitely we will support that SME. This is our mandate, this is our job, and definitely we're going to do that. That's for sure.
Great to hear. Thank you very much, Michael.
Yes, really good questions too, Luis. So is there anyone wants to share some feedback, opinions on green finance? So I hope all of us can see the linkages between all the topics in previous workshops with our sessions today. So when you communicate with your clients, customers, you need a good story. So marketing is nothing without a good story. This is what Sarah from Gentle Marketing just shared with us today as well. So if you want to create a good story, you need to be able to show what you have done to your customers. And that's why these measures that Michael just shared with you basically are measures that you can consider taking up, because not only it will contribute to the environmental protections of Mauritius, it contributes to the sustainability of your business as well. And last but not least, which is very important, once you have your green measures in place and you track your improvement, your sustainability, and you track this progress over time, you can use these documentations of your impacts, positive impacts, to get even more financing. If you want to invest, you develop, you grow your business, you can do it by starting today, trying out these green measures, which are at the moment already receiving attention from the SME Mauritius and government in general. Yeah, Sandrine, you want to say something?
Yes, I think what Luis was talking about, I think it's very interesting, because if you're talking about green financing, I see that not just doing solar panel or being electric. Especially we are on an island in Mauritius where the electricity is produced by gas oil. So it means it's already polluting a lot. So I'm not sure that being 100% electric is the solution, because when you plug your electric car or whatever, you use the gas oil anyway to have electricity. So for me, being green finance, it's more than that. It's about the whole value chain and the sustainability for the SMEs, whether you need to be either hybrid or electric, whether you need to have support to plant, I don't know, eco or organic garden or farm or seaweeds or whatever. So it's more than just solar panels, and I think especially when you're on an island, because the islands are not contributing to the global warming, because Mauritius is very small, so the contribution is more of the big countries. So I think it's more about creating value for the people, for the local, for the tourism industry, for the all different sectors that are interlinked in the end. So because this being a small island, agriculture, tourism, everything is interlinked. So I think it's very important to see that as a global cause, just being one thing. Yes, so for me, green financing is more than that. So that's why I like Luis, what he was talking about, because I think it's very important to see the solution for big countries are not the same for an island.
Exactly. Totally agree with that, Sandrine. Please, Michael, you want to say?
Yeah, I would like to just to jump on what has been said by Sandrine, to say that I completely agree with what you said. And that's why you see that my last slide, we talk about the collaboration between all the stakeholders, because alone we unfortunately cannot do everything. I would like to be that superman, superhero to do everything, but unfortunately this is not the case. That's why we need the collaboration of everyone working together. That is all the stakeholders, civil society taking the responsibility, small SMEs taking the responsibility, the big groups taking the responsibility. So everyone working together, it is then that we'll be able to go toward this objective of having a sustainable life. Thank you.
Thank you. That's perfect response.
Yeah, just if I can add, I think tourism industry is also very specific to other sector, maybe in terms also of visibility and seeing what the tourists are expecting from the destination and finding in the destination. So I think it's very specific also because the way you communicate and when you're going to post on Facebook, Instagram or whatever, it's so quick. It's not the same for other sectors. So it can destroy destination or on the contrary. Okay. Put it on the top. So that's maybe different from what Michael is doing for other sector because it's impacting in another way.
Yeah. And I think what Michael also said a few minutes ago, basically there is still room for other alternatives. So it's not only about these electric cars or things like that. So basically you need to communicate between your business and SME Mauritius to see whether this is possible to receive funding. Please go ahead, Joshua, with maybe any questions from the chat.
Yeah, I think more or less the question that I had in mind has kind of been answered, but I would still like to get further clarification maybe on behalf of the SMEs in Mauritius, especially in the tourism sector. I mean, Michael has actually spoken about these alternatives. For me, the interest will be to really know to what extent do they then involve the stakeholders? You know, do they have like channels through which they really involve them to really come up with these products that green financing that they're offering them? So for example, for the tourism industry, are there forums where they bring them together and really listen to what are their needs? You know, where do they want to go? And then based on this, come up with, these green financing or green, products that are financing, mechanisms that are really well suited for this category of people? Or is it more of a decision that is made more top? Things are set and then the SMEs have to align more with that. This is what I wanted to understand.
Thank you, Joshua. I think you're giving me the opportunity to once again say a big thanks to the Tourism Authority. Just to answer the first part of your question, meaning that whether we are working in isolation, meaning that we come up with a set of schemes, we throw it to the SMEs and they do whatever they want. No, this is not the case. We are working in close relationship with authorities such as the tourism authorities. And Darren, I think, will back us on that last year, just after the first lockdown period, we came up with a series of informative sessions with actors in the tourism sector, and SME Mauritius was one of the partners on this activity. We met those in the SME sector, exposed the different facilities that are available for them, and we do also have a regular session with une association des petits hôteliers, Mr. Jerry, who is the chairperson of this, and to see what we need. There is no one solution which fits all. As Mauritius, we are not working in that direction. We are coming with a range of solutions, and you see which best fit each member of the chain. As Kartika, I think, mentioned it right before, that the tourism sector is specific, is quite specific, and we cannot come up with one solution and say that this is the magical potion that everyone will take it and things will be better. No, we have specific item in our scheme which is specific for the tourism industry.
Thank you, Michael. And unfortunately, Sandrine, maybe you can put your questions or comments in the chat because we are running out of time. Unless there is any burning issues, I would like to invite Andreas to have 5 minutes, maybe wrap up before I give the floor to to Darren for the next steps. Thank you. Andreas?